Welcome back, everyone, to Real 33, the podcast dedicated to the best BMX movie ever. Actually, Brandon, I think it's the only BMX movie ever. I mean, there's others out there, but none of them really compare.
I mean, I don't think the other one that came out just a hair before counts, but this is the real deal here.
Yeah, we're talking about, of course, the movie Rad. Crew Jones, you know him. We know him. We have a special show tonight. We're going to be talking about one of the other cast members, a very interesting story. Why don't you give us a little background on that?
So a few years back, I'm looking through Facebook, and I run across someone who's got one of the holy grails of all rad and memorabilia, and that is Lori Loughlin's signature. And now, have you seen that, Rick, before? The signature of Lori Loughlin that this guy posted up? You've seen it
with the number plate?
Yes, correct. No one's got anything from Lori involving rad. I mean, TMZ had something where they tried to interview her one time, but it's hard to get. It's unheard of. So basically, we've been trying to track this guy down and find out the real story. And I've heard all these, I guess, let's just say rumors, but we've got the man. We've got him. We're about to bring him on, and we're going to hear how he got that Lori Loughlin autograph. Okay.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait for this.
It's like there's a lot of things missing in this that we don't have, but that's one of the top things. You know, we got to meet Bart at Hell Track in 2018. But Lori, my God, you know, to get her to stop, she's a big mega star. To get her to stop and sign something, it's unheard of. So let's find out what happened and how he got it, okay?
Absolutely.
Bring it on here. All right, let's welcome our special guest here. Hello. Welcome, Dave.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Man, we're doing great, and we have been excited to talk to you and find out the story behind the autograph. And you know the one I'm talking about, right?
I think I know the one you're talking about.
The one and
all. Give us the details, man. I mean, what is the backstory with this one?
So the backstory is I started, you know, I was a huffy kid. You know, I was one of those things. I never had a good bike. So I started building bikes around 2010. And I got it. One of my good buddies was an admin on the movie collection page. So I got up with Jeremy Mosier and all those guys that run the movie collection page. And I obviously an 80s kid, I know and love rad. So I was like, you know, I think I want to build a rad bike. And again, this was like 2012 at this point. And this is when BMX was still pretty cheap. So I ended up finding an 85 Californian in the box, which in box, had never been set up. So I bought the bike, and it was I think I paid $1,200 for the bike, which, you know, for a Mongoose, at that time was pretty high. But, you know, again, to have this holy grail bike that was cherry, and I got the number plate for it. I did it right. You know, I made sure I sourced all the right parts out. And the thing I really wanted to get was the number plate. So, of course, I picked up the number plate, and then I saw Bill Allen was doing signatures on whatever you want back then. I think at the time it was like $20 or $25 from Bill, and he would sign the plate and send it back. And I'm like, well, how cool would that be to, you know, have him sign the bike, just to have a neat example of the bike with, I mean, obviously Crew Jones' signature. So that happened, and I had him sign it, and a couple years went by. It was like 2015. 2016, and I started jonesing for a little more, and I'm like, the bike is awesome, but how cool would it be to have Lori's signature on the plate? And everyone's like, dude, she doesn't sign anything rad. She just kind of it's just Aunt Becky now, you know. It's one of those things. It's like that's what she's known for. She doesn't typically sign anything rad. So I friended her. She was on Facebook, and at the time you could follow her page and send her a message. So around 2016, I started hunting, and it was like her birthday. Happy birthday, Lori. Hope you have a great day. Thinking of you. A couple months would go by. She posts something. Hey, congratulations on that award. You know, it's so awesome. Merry Christmas. Happy Easter. You know, I was just going in there, and she would never reply back, but I could see it said seen, you know, on instant messenger. You could see if somebody had read it. I'm like, I know she's reading my comments. So finally I said, you know, I've got this rad bike. I said, it would mean the world to me if you would sign the plate. And again, scene. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like late 2016. 2017 goes by. Merry Christmas, you know, all this stuff. You know, I hope you had a great day, thinking of you. And I'd send a picture of her from Rad. And it was like this cyber stalking for like, it had to have been 2 or 3 years. I just kept consistent and just, whatever holiday it was, I would try to tie it in. I'd have a picture of her from Full House dressed up or, whatever it was. And I just stayed consistent. And finally I see a reply and it just said, what do you want? And it was like one of those, like, I've had enough.
Whoa.
Like I broke her. And she was like, what can I do for you? And I said, I would love for you to sign my number plate. And she said, fine. She goes, she jokingly, I could tell it was joking. She's like, will you stop harassing me if
wow.
I sign this plate? And I'm like, I swear to God, you'll never hear from me again. I'm like, this is unbelievable. So I was, I told all the guys on the Rad page and they were just like, no way is that happening. Like, no way she's going to sign anything. Because again, her signature pops up, but not on Rad memorabilia, especially not on a bike. So the next day, I grabbed the signature from Bill had already signed the plate. Like 3-4 years prior to this. This was like, I think it was 2017. I sent it out to her. So I grabbed the plate and I grabbed I have an original LP, original vinyl. And I sent those to Lori and I overnighted them. I FedExed them to her overnight. And I sent I think it was like a $50 gift card to Starbucks. I sent a really nice letter and just thanking her. And I said, I honestly at this point didn't know if I was going to get the stuff back because it's one of those, she's like, send it to my agency. So I sent it to the agency and I was just like, it was kind of sketch. So, in my world, because I'm sending this plate off. So I sent the plate and the next night I'm sitting at dinner with my wife and we're having a dinner. My kids are sitting there, we're all just eating dinner and I get a text. And I look at the phone and it was an 818 number. And I'm like, that's weird. I believe it was California. I think that was their area code. So I see the text and it just says, I signed your plate and I signed your record. They'll be going out in the morning. And I look at my wife and I said, holy shit. I said,
Lori Loughlin texted you.
She just texted me at dinner and she signed them and they're coming back. And my wife just looks at me and goes, should I be like mildly concerned that you're getting texts from Lori at the dinner table? And I'm just like, I'm freaking out. So then I start thinking about it. And this is like within like 2 minutes, I texted her back and I said, no one is going to believe me. No one is going to believe me that you signed this stuff. So it was about 3 minutes later, I get a text of her holding my record and my plate. And she just did a quick selfie holding it. And I'm like, better than a certificate of authenticity. I got the real deal. So Lori took a selfie, and that was the famous picture of her holding the plate and the record. So about a week later, it came back. She FedExed it over, and I sent money in there too. I sent I think it was a FedEx. I sent some kind of gift cards for her to ship it back. That way there was no issues with her, having to pay for it herself. So she sent the plate and the record back, and I posted about a week later on the Rad page, and the Rad community lost its mind. Everyone's like, oh my God, how much did you pay for that? I bet you paid $5,000 for that. I'm like, nah, I just hassled the hell out of the poor lady. It's like, just stayed on top of it. And, it was one of those things, and it's still kind of the holy grail. And obviously everything happened to her after the fact with the college scandal. So she's really not out and about much now. She kind of keeps to herself. And, I feel like that's one of those items that is real special to me now. So, and I actually have the record right here. Let's see. I don't know if you guys can see that very well.
Did she write a little note there?
Yeah, it just says, to Dave, all the best. So
quit stalking me.
Quit stalking me.
So Dave, let's go backwards here. How many let's just say, use the word communication. Some of the stuff you worded a while ago was kind of creepy sounding, okay, a little bit. So I'm really glad you got through to her because, like, how you doing, Lori? You don't know me, but how many things did you send to her, man? This is such a great story.
probably, I mean, and it was one of those things, you know, I would send pictures of her like with my kids with the rad bike, so she knew I wasn't like a psycho stalker. You know, it was one of those things I did, like we did like a picture of all of us with my bike, you know, smiling. I'm like trying to pull on our heartstrings, you know. I mean, it wasn't just, you know, where, you know, I know what you did last summer. You know, it wasn't one of those things. It was, you know, legit, like, you know, just communicating with her and just saying, you know, Merry Christmas or whatever at the time, you know, Happy Rad Day. You know, at the time, the you know, the Rad 25th was happening at that time earlier than that. So it was like Happy Rad 25, Happy Rad 30, you know. So it was probably, I'd say 10 to 20 messages over a few years. So
I love it. So in what year did you get the actual autograph done?
I think it was 2017.
2017. Okay. So the story I heard, Rick and Dave, is that you know, he spent a lot of money to get this thing, and that's kind of the story. Then I find out the guy was persistent, man, and it paid off. You know, that's a way better story than paying some ridiculous amount of money for an autograph. It really is.
And I love the scale too for sending money to her, and you know, I've been involved in that scandal.
Right.
So after we put this up, how many guys are going to be contacting Lori with pictures of their family and a bicycle trying to get an autograph?
Well, now, I mean, again, her Facebook is closed. Like, it's not even, she closed that down. She closed her Instagram. So there really is no way to contact her. And I don't know if you guys know this, but she's married to Massimo, the fashion designer. So, you know, they're worth like $300 million or something like that. So they don't need.
He sold out to Target, I believe, didn't he?
What's that?
I think he sold out to Target, his brand.
I think everybody did, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean that alone, but yeah,
they do eventually.
We're doing okay. Man, you know, that's so cool. Now listen, here's a big question. I know you haven't sold it. What's the price?
I wouldn't. You know, it's one of those things. It's special to me. So my kids love Rad, and it's kind of passed on to them, and it's just one of those.
Hold on, you've got two autographs. So you've got the plate, you got the record,
and the record. Yep.
And surely you'd part with one of those for the right price.
I don't know. You know, it's one of those things. I don't. Not right now. Not because, you know, it's such a important part of the collection. You know, it's one of those things. It's special to me. So I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, everything has a price, but I don't know. It's one of those things. I don't see me letting it go.
Has anyone made an offer to you?
There's been some private stuff going on. Yeah. So
what kind of numbers are you talking?
Within our Rad group over the years. So
yeah.
But
4 digits?
What's that?
Like 4-digit numbers?
I mean, I don't know. Private stuff.
I don't think you're gonna break him, Brandon.
Look,
it's one of those things. It's
one of the holy grail, man, of the Rad community. I mean, that's just unheard. It's unheard of. I mean, it's awesome.
It's funny because there's been people that commented on, you know, the Instagram account. There's a lot of Rad people that follow the page, and every once in a while somebody's like, "Oh, I got Lori's autograph on my bike," blah blah blah, and I'm like, "Let's see it," and it's just always crickets. It's like, nobody's got it. I'm confident. Like, they may have her signature on something else. They may have forged something, but I mean, Lori. I think I've seen Lori. Like, I think you said on TMZ, there was a picture of her signing like a Rad poster, and I think that was the only other thing I've ever seen her sign was a Rad poster. And that was like one of those I saw like a quick on TMZ. She was coming out of a meeting and somebody's like, "Here, sign this." And she just went like this and scribbled. I'm like, "Oh, that was a Rad poster." So, but again, it's like so rare. So
I'm not, maybe I did see it, but I've seen her on TMZ where they were kind of like, you know, kind of joking with her about it, you know, and the guy had a Rad racing shirt on and stuff, you know, that was asking her about it. Mm-hmm. But I need to go back and look and try to find the video you're talking about with her signing a poster.
Yeah,
who's got that poster? I mean, that person must be out there. I'd like to know who that is.
Yeah.
So,
and there's some serious Rad collectors out there. I mean, big time Rad collectors. So, which is funny, just because there wasn't that much merch made for the movie. So, you know, I have an original press book that was owned by one of the cast members. I'm not going to say which one, but I have an original press book with all the stickers in it. You know, I've got some rare items. I've got the Alosta Brewery beer cans that were signed by a lot of the cast members, by 8 different cast members from Alosta Brewing in California.
I had a real quick question. I know you promised her you were going to bug her again. Sometimes promises were made to be broken. How do you feel about
I bugged her again.
how about bugging her just one more time to appear on Real 33?
Oh my gosh.
What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you
I've
say?
actually bothered her again. There was a set of one of my buddies made a custom set of they look like rad baseball cards. And I think we have 35 or 40 of them. And all of us took like a group of names from writers, from actors, and I helped a little bit, but there were two integral parts of that. And they sent 3-4 cards off to every single person, and we all did, to get their signatures. And I have about 40 signatures from the cast members on these cards. And Talia is missing and Lori is missing. And I if I would have thought at the time, I was so hopped up about the plate, I didn't even think about the cards at the time. But it's one of those things. I'm like, I need to kind of hassle her. I messaged the shadow Facebook account because it's still on my phone, and I no reply. It was one of those that the account's down. But I think I still have the address somewhere for the agency, but I don't think she's with that agency anymore. But I'm like, what harm would it do? It's not anything of value, just to send a couple cards to try to get a signature on it. But yeah.
Now, didn't you think she texted you while you were at dinner?
She did.
Well, you got her phone number.
That was like 4 phones ago, and
okay.
Almost 10 years, not 10 years, 7 years ago. So yeah, that number is long gone. I didn't save it in my phone or anything. That would be psycho stalker.
Yeah. Wow.
So
what
I
a great.
I respected privacy, and it was one of those things I just never.
That's good on you. Yeah.
How shocked were you when it happened? Like, I mean, what were the?
I can tell you who was shocked. Bill was shocked.
Well, what were your odds? I mean, there's like 0%, 1%, 10%. Like, how did you feel in your gut about getting that autograph?
I didn't think it would happen. I mean, you kind of lose. I would get to the point where I would message her, and then it would just go, and I'd be months without thinking about it, and I'd be like, oh, I need to try again. But I didn't think the odds were very good. I didn't really know at the time. Again, Rad was like 2000. Pre-2020, pre-COVID, the Rad community was pretty small. And I think during COVID, a lot of people, like I know on my Instagram page, I went from 5,000 followers in 2020 to 350,000 today. So wow. I really think that COVID people wanted to remember things that were better. They wanted to remember a better time, a better place, things that made them happy. So BMX bikes were getting scooped up, skateboards, toys, everything just blew up. And I think prior to that, it was one of those things I thought my odds were pretty good because there wasn't a lot of people looking for it. There wasn't a lot of people building rad bikes at the time. It was kind of a really small community. The rad community is really big now, with the showing a few weeks ago. And, people are remembering.
33.
It's growing. It's actually growing. I mean, it's gotten so much bigger, and every year, I mean, the movie theaters, a couple years ago, there's people there, but a couple weeks ago, man, I saw many theaters that were like pretty much sold out.
And like people wearing the jerseys and wearing the shirts. I mean, it was legit. So it's neat to see.
The theater I went to last year, was it last year or the year before that, whenever I went to one, there was, there's a decent amount of people, but it was nowhere near sold out, maybe halfway full. But this year, there was like the only seats left were on the front row, and there's like maybe 4 or 5 of them. That was it. The rest of them are sold out because guess who had to sit on the front row? This guy, because I bought my seats last minute, and I'm like the whole time. But let me tell you, I had my neck back, but luckily they reclined. I found out, and I actually liked it because there was so much more I could see because I'm practically blind. I could see so much more detail, man, on the screen that close. So as much as I was regretting it and really hating it, it worked out perfect, man. And also you feel like you can see up their noses and stuff. It's kind of odd, but man, only like 4 or 5 seats were left available, and they were on the front row. And it wasn't just the theater I was at; they're all over the place, sold out. So it was awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. So a lot of the people have kind of come back, but Bill was shocked when I posted the photo. I mean, Bill messaged me instantly. I don't know if he messaged or called me, but because Bill and I had a relationship, we had been friends and kind of messaged back and forth. He had done some videos for my kids, and like, he's just an all around good dude. But he either called her message and he was like, "How in the hell did you get her signature?" And for Crew Jones to message me, be like, "Whoa, what's that about?" So it was one of those things that, I didn't want to mail it again. So I was so happy to have Bill's signature already and just get it home and keep it home. It's one of those items. It's not replaceable.
It's priceless.
So I have a huge collection of memorabilia, and there's only 2 or 3 things that I have like that are something I wouldn't be able to get replaced if it was lost. So
you've got the crown jewel of the rad community. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I would say as of right now, that's got to be. I mean, the things that would top that would be like some of the original bikes from the movie, for instance.
I think he's got the original red line. So I think it's the original bike from the movie, I believe.
Well, I saw him take that to. Well, Rick knows the story better than I do, but I did see the video where he took it to R.L. Osborne and he verified it.
Okay.
And I mean, I've heard the crazy amounts of money that he spent. I mean, I've heard upwards of $70,000. I don't know if that's true.
He's a good dude, though. He's a nice dude.
The guy that owns it.
Yeah,
he's solid. He's solid.
Yeah, I couldn't have like, it's one of those things everyone's like, "Oh, the money, blah blah blah." I'm like, nah, dude, he is a rad fanatic, and like more power to him. Like, be able to step up and get something like that. But I also do. ET was like really high up on my list too, and one of those bikes I think that sold for $35,000 for one of the bikes that were used and not even Elliot's bike. It was one of the stunt rider bikes.
Are you kidding? How much? $35,000.
Stunt rider. Then the end scene when they're running from the police and they're all kind of
Bob Harlow and
guys going over the hill. One of those bikes, one of the background bikes, sold for like $30,000. So
I bet I'm going to Dirty Fest this week, a couple of days from now, and I'm going to have to ask Haro if he's there. I'm sure he'll be. I would think he'll be there. I got to find out about that story then. That's really interesting.
Crazy. And it was one of the. I want to say, I don't know this. It was a weird story between Robert. I'm trying to think of the stunt rider's name. I know his name was Robert, but he ended up, it was like his bike or something. It was a weird story, but it ended up selling for a gross amount of money on an online auction. So, but yeah, Bob knows all that stuff. I don't know if you guys can see, there's a picture right there, and that's signed by Bob to me of one of the ET scenes. But
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I'll have to ask him this next weekend if I see him, or this coming weekend. Toby Henderson had brought back the Kuwahara bikes. I think it's called American Bike Company that was going by. But have you seen those online?
Yeah, we actually sold those. I worked for Flight BMX for quite a few years, and we were the only authorized representative of Kuwahara for a long time. And then they didn't renew, and Toby picked them up, and they're great bikes. So they're a phenomenal company. I've actually got a 30th and a 40th anniversary sitting right here right now. So
really?
Of the ET Kuwaharas, yeah. So
no kidding. I think I heard an interview of Clint Miller, who rode for Factory Kuwahara, and he was saying it was like one of the, I could be mistaken, but I think he said it was one of the best bikes he ever rode. He was real happy with it. So I've heard good things. Well, man, I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on here, man. I've been wanting to find out the story behind that plate and how you got it. I think everyone wants to know the real story. And we got it, man. So we're going to spread the word. And, man, we look forward to bringing you back on and checking out some more. I mean, you got so much stuff in the background to look at.
I mean, we could do a whole episode on just what's behind you.
Yeah.
This garage is an awesome place for I Spy. You can sit here and sit back and, just there's something always new to see. So it's doors always open, and appreciate you having me on.
All right, that was Dave, man. Check him out at the 80s Garage. He's got one of the raddest collections I've ever seen. It's just everything 80s, dude. So, I mean, wherever
definitely
you dreamt
a place I want to hang out.
Yeah, I mean, everything you dreamt of as a kid, he's got it, man. So thanks a lot, Dave. Appreciate you. Rick, what do you think, man? Isn't that a cool story?
That completely blows my mind. I mean, I guess it's true what they say, persistence is key.
I mean, he just kept at it, and it paid off.
Yeah, I mean, she's like the ghost of rad. Like, she is the one character, the one actor that you just do not access. And he did it.
I wonder how much, if at all, Nicole Kidman gets hit up for stuff about BMX bandits. You know what I mean?
I bet it's out there. Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure there is, but I mean, I wonder. It can't even compare to rad, though.
No.
I mean, that movie just did not connect with like Rad did. So,
No.
but yeah, he's got more to stuff. We're going to bring him back on because he's got a huge collection. And
Yeah.
I mean, we need to see the cards that he has, the Rad cards, the other bikes. So we'll bring him on. We can spend like probably a good hour talking to that guy, man. So,
Oh, at least.
yeah, cool. Anything else to add before we leave?
Man, I'm going to sleep with a smile on my face tonight. Knowing that Lori's out there is enough to make me happy.
I sure want to dig deeper and poke the bear and find out what he's been offered for that Rad plate with her.
Oh,
signature.
yeah. I don't think he's going to let it go, man. He's got an iron grip on that thing.
I'm going
You're
to tell you,
dreaming.
if he only had the one signature, I could understand it, but he's got 2 signatures of hers. I'd have to let one of those go, man. You know, I mean,
yeah. Hey, you know what? We know now that persistence is key.
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
you can dream it, you can do it.
All right, dude. Until next time, guys, check us out on the Real 33. Let's check out our Facebook page, man. Go in there and check out all the episodes we're adding. And until next time.
Stay rad, everybody.
All right, let's walk this sucker.